Welcome, Rowan and Drew Gallagher. Board members, Maddie Klink let me know that she's not able to make it tonight due to the district track meet. And you are still on mute, so we're not hearing you yet. Hopefully you're hearing me okay. It looks like you are unmuted, but we are not getting sound coming through yet. It looks like you got Jamie there, so you're in good hands. Can you hear me?
Good evening. I am the interpreter for tonight.
Thank you. Welcome. I will start interpretation.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, we are still not hearing the board members. Can you raise your hand if you're hearing me? Thank you. No, I don't have that, Jamie. Tishri, one thing you could check is in Zoom preferences, whether it's selected to the right audio feed, because I'm still not hearing anything from the microphones. Just to let everyone know in the public, they're working on the sound issue to make sure that things will be working well for the board. So they'll get that ready as soon as they can.
Hello, this is David. I couldn't
Welcome.
connect before, but I guess I got it now.
Welcome. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here. Interpretation
you.
started, so you
Yes.
can join that channel. We'll be good to go.
Okay, thank you. ¿Cómo está?
Bien.
¿You empiezo?
No, un poquito.
No, I was asking. I was asking Nancy if I start.
And that would be.
All right.
Okay.
We heard a brief flash of the board meeting sound there, it sounded like. For those who are just joining the Zoom presentation, they are working on getting sound working in the boardroom, and they will begin as soon as they get that taken care of.
Okay.
David, it sounds like you are still on the English channel as opposed to the Spanish.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll go and the Spanish.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Just to let everyone know, they're having difficulty with sound in the boardroom, and looks like they've dropped out to try to fix that, and they will come back on and start the board meeting as soon as they're ready.
It's gonna be fine though, because it's that right there. I'll work on getting a second mixer set up.
Sounds like
Can you
that.
hear us now?
Yes, it sounds like that just did it.
Okay, plan B. That's not good. Speaker.
This one?
Board members, we can hear you. Can you hear me? If so, can you raise your?
hear us now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Success.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay.
Can I hear a huzzah?
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
If you're good to go,
We are good to go, Chair Brown.
okay. Call this meeting order at about 7:10 p.m. And we'll start off Black School with Director Del.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, We have a pretty simple agenda tonight, so we're keeping it pretty tight. So we're gonna skip on the review agenda. There was no changes. So we're going right to public comments. So we're welcoming to Joshua Renner. He is providing legal support this evening and will be reading out public comments. So Joshua, thanks for doing this.
Dave,
Chair.
really quickly, I just noticed microphones are not on. I'm not sure if I turned mine on. Okay. Very good. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, thank you.
Can you turn on Rebecca? Yeah, I got it. Here's- Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. First comment is from Chelsea Chartrand. Hello, I'm a parent of 3 students in the Newberg School District. I'm writing to express my concern and objection to the proposed plan of having co-ed genderless bathrooms at the New Dundee Elementary. This is not something that I agree with, nor would I be comfortable with any of my children using a co-ed bathroom. Elementary school covers a wide span of age ranges, and those ages bring different changes that children deserve privacy to deal with. Older children are dealing with puberty, and younger students are sometimes still learning the basics of modesty. I do not feel like genderless bathrooms are the direction that we need to be moving in. I'm concerned these details about the design of the bathrooms have not been made public for parents and families to have input on. I would ask that you seek public input on decisions like this. My trust in our school district is already eroded, and things like this do not help. Thank you. Next comment is from Darcy Grimm. Good evening. I've recently learned that the lovely new Dundee Elementary School that's being planned is going to include co-ed bathrooms. I'm not against this idea as a whole, but as a parent of young kids who will be attending this school, I am 100% against this as the only form of bathrooms. There is absolutely no reason that young girls should be forced to use a multi-person bathroom with the high probability of having 5th grade boys in there with her. It's unfair, inappropriate, would be scary for these kids who feel vulnerable and potentially harmful. Please, by all means, put in single, private, all gender bathrooms as an option for those kids who prefer that. But the general use multi-stall bathrooms for the majority of the population should absolutely be male/female. Respectfully, Darcy, mother of young children who will most definitely be impacted by this poor choice. The next comment is from Karen Bailey, which due to some commentary of a personal nature has been redacted in part. Dear Newberg School Board, I continue to be hopeful that you will authentically turn your attention to academics and instruction in our schools. To date, as a couple of the superintendent candidates said, they are not clear on the board's vision or goals. I attended all 3 community presentations of superintendent finalists. There is one candidate who was light years ahead of the other 2. He was able to articulate a deep understanding of teaching and learning. He clearly understands the use of data and research-based practices to improve instruction. He knows the community as a parent whose children attended Newberg schools and has worked in the district and has been on the front line so intimately, knows the strengths and weaknesses of our Newberg district. As you know, that candidate is Daniel Bush. I am not on social media and my job takes me out of our community, so I'm not privy to a lot of the talk, quote unquote, that goes on in the community. However, on Saturday, I stopped by to support the fundraiser for the 22 graduates and learned there that word in the community is that a decision on the superintendent candidate has been made by the board and that it is Stephen Phillips. After Mr. Phillips's presentation, I shared with Trevor my astonishment that the board would move a candidate forward who has what can at best be described as poor professional judgment. I am a principal and have held a variety of educational positions over my 34 years in public education and have been involved in multiple superintendent searches. I have to admit, this is a first for me that the board would even present to the community as a finalist a candidate who has such a flawed record of performance. I understand that the candidate pool was shallow, no surprise considering all the dysfunction, disruption, and drama over the past year. Next comment is from Jesse Catt. Hello, just want to let you all know that I was at the talk with Stephen Phillips and was really impressed by his ability to address the issues facing us in Newberg. It seems like he would be a great selection, and I would urge the board to seriously consider him as the next superintendent. Thanks, Jesse Cap. Next comment is from Chris Douglas. I'm in favor of hiring Steve Phillips as the Newberg School District Superintendent. He has experience, composure under stress, and many other qualities I'm looking for in a superintendent. Christina Lakey. Excuse me, that's from Christina Lakey. The next comment is from Helen Talt. I spent 3 evenings listening to all 3 candidates and trying to do my part as a community member to help get my school district the professional superintendent we so desperately need. When I went to bed after the last night of interviews, my choice was made. I had picked Mr. Phillips as the most professional and sincerely honest candidate. Much to my surprise, I received email the next day connecting me to media articles about Mr. Phillips, and they were shocking. Luckily, I was raised to do 3 things before making a judgment. 1, ask, is the information true, honest, and complete? 2, consider the source. 3, who benefits? After doing these 3 things, I personally still support choosing Mr. Phillips. My reasoning are as follows. I am a woman and have daughters and a granddaughter. I have been around many women, and too many have claimed to have had negative sexual experiences or unwanted advances. Some women told the truth, and yes, some have lied. This is a fact, but what is also a fact is that a supervisor, Mr. Phillips in this case, or coworker, needs to listen and until proven false, believe the victim is telling the truth. To disparage a boss who tries to give the victim support is just plain wrong. Considering the source tells me this is not an unbiased journalist, but someone who has many axes to grind, and it comes out in all their articles. Maybe they are on a crusade for justice, and their bias is so blatant that although some of the facts are possibly true, many are referenced as alleged or from an unknown witness.
Unknown?
Hi, Dave, this is Kaylee.
It is also apparent this writer is prejudiced against LDS members. To attack Mr. Phillips because of his religion is un-American and probably could result in a court case. The timing of the release of this material is, in my opinion, not a coincidence.
Senior candy tennis.
The obvious attempt to use these articles as prejudice against Mr. Phillips reminds me a lot of the actions against our school board members and the city council members. Right. Comment is from Amy Rousseau. Dear school board members, I am writing this email to give you my feedback on which candidate I believe you should hire for superintendent. My vote is Steve Phillips. He handled difficult questions with solid, clear answers. I appreciate his philosophy of asking what is best for students, and I believe he will maintain high expectations for both students as well as faculty and staff. I feel his experience and professionalism qualities him the most to fulfill this challenging role of Newberg as the superintendent. Thank you, Amy Rousseau. From Derek Wharf. Hello, my name is Derek Wharf. My wife and I have lived in Newberg for 15 years. I've lived in Yamhill County for 25 plus years. This is our home and our community. We have 2 daughters now in the NES district, one at Mabel Rush Elementary and one at Newberg High School. I am asking the board to acknowledge the voice of our citizens by way of this appointment. We have voted twice to say we want to focus our priorities on student academic preparedness and quality.
Hemos enfocado en las prioridades.
This includes a safe and structured educational environment. To do this, we need a leader willing to establish high expectations for our students and staff.
Establecido expectaciones altas para nuestros estudiantes.
David, we think you're on the English channel.
A leader who will uphold policies and ensure fair and equitable treatment for all staff and students. A leader who can hear all sides, make sound decisions, and then communicate clearly and decisively. Thank you for your time today and the time and effort you have all put into your positions to support our community and kids. Thank you, Derek Wharf. From Jody Hugendam. Although my children are now adult and no longer here attending school, I definitely want to weigh in on the school superintendent. With everything going on in our schools right now, I feel Steve Phillips is the change we all need. He has stated that every decision he makes will be what is best for the students. I don't feel that has been the case up to now. The children are our future, and we need to get back to reading, writing, and arithmetic. No politics. Steve will bring a breath of fresh air. Thank you. From Jim Talt. Though properly addressed, this email for public comment was not read at the appropriate time at the last school board meeting, so I resubmitted to be read again, including this sentence, please. Thank you, Dr. Novotny, Ms. Freely, board and staff for the energy and due diligence you have given the superintendent selection process. I was a member of the observer panel and also attended the public interviews for the 3 finalists. All the candidates are talented and sincere people, and I wish them each the best. The time to discuss their various attributes has ended. Now is the time to choose. I would choose Mr. Phillips. I believe he will do an excellent job, and I am hopeful the community will live by our saying, better together. Again, thank you all. Jim Tall. From MJ Fook. As our vote, Stephen Phillips has our vote in our household. We need better leadership, backbone on issues, and not an empty suit running our district. No more highly paid bureaucrats who do nothing. From John and Sandy Fortmeyer. Although our children are all grown and our grandchildren now live outside Newberg, we retain a strong interest in our local public schools and ask that the board select Steve Phillips as school superintendent. From an online report we have seen of the interviews conducted, he sounds like the best candidate to return the district to stability and common sense in our education programs. From Paulette Alexandria, I believe we should hire Mr. Phillips as our next school superintendent. I believe his value most clearly online with the values of the people in Newberg. Thank you so much, Paulette. From Dr. Dan Carpenter. Experienced, no other candidate is even close. Like all of us, has made mistakes. Like most of us, has learned from his mistakes, which has made him a better leader. Philosophy is simple. Put students first. With his experience, he is far less likely to make mistakes that a less experienced superintendent would make. Steve Phillips is the most viable candidate. We don't need a good old boy chosen because of community popularity. We need someone experienced who is willing to make the tough decisions required by a leader. I believe that Mr. Phillips has learned from his prior mistakes, is easily the best candidate and by far the best leader for the position. I hope that we can count on a vote based on leadership experience and not community popularity. Thank you for choosing the best candidate, Mr. Stephen Phillips. This comment is from Dora Shelberg. Greetings, board members, Dr. Novotny, district staff, parents, and community. I am writing to the school board again to express my concern regarding the new Dundee Elementary School plans. The current plans, as seen in the attached photographs, show plans for co-ed bathrooms. This is unacceptable. I am asking that you call a meeting with the building planning team and BRIC to correct this issue. This matter is not up for debate. This is not up to BRIC. This is not okay. I have polled several parents and staff at Dundee, and they agree that this should not go forward as presented. I have encouraged others to write letters to you as well and make their feelings known. Before the plans are finalized, you must correct this. Please examine the photographs attached in this email. They are as posted inside Dundee Elementary's office. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Christy Shelberg, mother to 3 kids in the Newberg School District. From Patty Hotman, I have reviewed the finalists for the important job of superintendent for the Newberg School District. I believe that Steve Phillips should be the better of the 2 for the job. Our area has received such negative press nationally, and I feel that he will be able to close the divide between the 2 opposing sides. The children of the district are the #1 priority. After reading about Mr. Phillips on his administrative leave, I believe anyone would react the same way to fire an employee for sexual harassment. I ask that the board consider hiring Steve Phillips. Thank you, Patty Hotman. From Brandon Casey. My name is Brandon Casey, and I have 2 children currently in the Newberg School District. My family has lived in Newberg a very long time, long enough to see the rise of far left extremism in our community. It is so important to make sure that we hire a superintendent whose views align with the majority of people in Newberg and a superintendent who puts students first. From all of the information I have seen, I would ask that you hire Steve Phillips as the next superintendent. I can't stress enough the importance of hiring a superintendent that does not have a far left ideology. We live in an authoritarian, tyrannical state that has passed a law that makes it almost impossible for a school board to fire a superintendent. And if we put the wrong person in this position, we may not be able to get rid of him. The majority of this town is conservative. We want a superintendent and a board who looks out for the best interest of our children, all of them. We want our children to go to school and be taught academics and excel at them. We do not want our children taught social issues or asked what gender they want to be or what their preference is, or taught to pay homage to a rainbow flag. This is a very big decision that could have far-reaching consequences. That being said, again, I would ask that you hire Steve Phillips for this position. He is the most qualified, as he has been a superintendent and seems to align with our community well. Hire Steve Phillips. And Dr. Dan Carpenter, again, it's a duplicate email. Diane Pine, Steve Phillips, I like what I heard from him and believe he would make a good superintendent. I like that he puts students first when he makes a decision. He had a strong presence with good answers to questions, not wishy-washy. Jacobs Beekes. I just wanted to email to express my support for superintendent candidate Steve Phillips. As a parent of 3 children in the Newberg School District and 1 more who will be in the district in a year and a half, I'm very interested in being sure that the superintendent is up to the challenges present in this district, and that he or she cares about the academic and overall well-being of the students. I've been very concerned about the district not investing properly in the top achieving students. This needs to stop. While supporting all students, the district needs to be investing in top achieving students as well. I believe Superintendent candidate Phillips will be able to make this happen. Thank you, Jacobs Beekes, PhD. Dwight Larson, dear school board members, Steve Phillips seems to be the most qualified candidate for NSD superintendent. His openness and experience are both pluses, and his high expectations for all students and faculty expresses a philosophy that is very much needed here. From Georgia Larson, dear NSD board members, I'm writing to express support for the hiring of Steve Phillips as our new school superintendent. He seems to be the most qualified and experienced, and I am impressed with his stated philosophy that doing what is best for the children is his first concern. His willingness to be straightforward in answering tough questions is a huge asset. From Robin Wheatley, hello school board members. I'm writing today in support of hiring candidate Steve Phillips, the superintendent of our school district. I believe he is the best candidate for the job. He has the experience and willingness to work hard to improve our school district in education and enrollment rates. I believe he will work alongside our elected school board and support the direction they want to take the district. I attended his meet and greet and was impressed with how open and honest he answered the hard questions. Thank you, Robin Wheatley. From Ruth Black, after reading the biographies of the superintendent candidates, I think Steve Phillips is the most qualified for the job. His previous experience, plus his philosophy is what is best for the student, led me to believe he would bring back high standards for both students and teachers. I think he would be an asset to our district for both students and teachers. From Joan Shu. Dear school board members, I'm writing to give my opinion as to which candidate for the position of super of Newberg SD I believe fits the needs of our community. I would like my opinion read and to be a part of your decision-making process. I hope you will select Steve Phillips. Mr. Phillips answered questions that were specifically relevant for our community, given the discord that we had surrounding the dismissal of the last superintendent and all of the events leading up to that in a clear and honest manner. His previous experience will suit him well for Newberg. Based on his interview, he wants what is best for students and believes in striving for academic excellence, something that we need to get back to as a priority. I think the other candidate would be too much like the previous one. We could end up in another chaotic situation. I believe Mr. Phillips will more easily gain the respect of the community and get the things back on track for the future. I'm a retired teacher, a concerned citizen, and a taxpayer. I hope my opinion matters. Thank you very much. Susan Luthen, to board members, I was at meet and greet last night, and I highly recommend Steve Phillips. He has integrity and has lived with kids as well as has been superintendent over multiple school districts. The objections last night, when framed around similarities in what happened to Joe Moreland, whom all the objectors firmly supported, negate all objections. Things happen, choices are made, and people learn from them. Our district gave Joe time to rectify his mistake. Steve's district did not. Please vote for Steve Phillips based on his record as a superintendent and results for learning success, and not on his quick exit during times when offenses are in a no tolerance era. From David Klaus, I believe that of the candidates for district superintendent, Stephen Phillips is the standout.
Excuse me, I have a point of clarification. When were these letters received? Were they received since the last board meeting? Because many of them sound like we received them after the like this one said, I attended the meeting last week. There's been several board meetings before, since that time, where there were, these letters should have been read then. It sounds like we're stacking the public comments. And I know there's been letters written about Dan Bush. So I'm just questioning the procedure of how you found these letters, because they're a couple of weeks old, some of them.
Mr. Chair, I believe I can answer the member's question if I could. Sure. I believe what happened at our last meeting was that a bunch of emails had been sent, but had not been sent to the public comment inbox. And so if you recall, Lisa announced that if you wanted your comment read, you needed to resend it to that public comment inbox. So these are people who have then resent that to the public comment inbox so that they could be read at a public meeting.
All right.
Next comment is from Alvin Lippincott. I am send this in support of Dan Bush for the new Newberg school superintendent. I believe he will be a good choice to operate the school and perhaps heal some of the division within the community. From Tammy Sechrist, your Newberg School District Directors. First, kudos to your student representatives, Maddie and Rowan, for their work on the issue of bullying at the high school. Because these two young people have firsthand knowledge of what's happening at the high school, I hope that you, the school board directors, are listening carefully to what they are saying. It's not surprising that bullying behavior among students is on the upswing. That is what has been modeled by some adults in our community and in our nation. The board's full support in backing anti-bullying efforts is needed. Full support means that the board must hire employees that can accept, support, and educate all students. Steve Phillips has in the past tweeted offensive remarks about undocumented immigrants and lost his Beaverton School District job over it. He has demonstrated that he is a bully. Do we want Steve Phillips as a role model for our young people? We must not hire Steve Phillips for the position of superintendent of the Newberg School District. From Doug and Kathy Kafal. Doug and I, along with our daughters and son-in-law, grew up in Newberg and all graduated from Newberg High School, and we continue to live in Newberg. I believe Dan is very aware of our community and district's need for healing. He will help in the healing process. Hugh wants to strengthen and raise our expectations and feels that our community's families deserve this. Dan would like to re-engage families and will make this a major focus if he becomes Newberg School District Superintendent. In reading a conversation regarding dyslexia, where Dan talks about understanding the brain in a way to inform and transform teaching effectively and not diagnosing dyslexia as a disability. He has experience in not labeling students and teaching reading in a different way. He believes in the importance of foundation skills in early grades. He is very passionate about these skills as it makes such a difference in middle and high school. He understands and believes that there is an opportunity to address struggling readers. Many of our students wrestle with low self-esteem and anxiety because of difficulty with reading. Dyslexia has been a part of our family story for several generations. Some of our grandchildren who are attending in Newberg School District have varying degrees of dyslexia. We want all of our students in Newberg to feel encouraged, strong, and empowered in their learning. As our family's representatives in our school district, we would like to encourage you to hire Dan Bush as our superintendent of Newberg School District. from Patrice Jordan. Dear school board, after reviewing the information on Steve Phillips, I believe he is the best choice for our schools at this time. He is committed to doing the job to the best of his ability for the benefit of the children of the district. He is committed to returning our schools to academic excellence. I am looking forward to having a superintendent who will hold teachers and faculty accountable to the school board. Please choose Steve Phillips to fill the position. Thank you. Thus ends the public comments.
Okay, thank you very much. I would just say, Brian, thanks for explaining that. Rebecca, thanks for your comment. In my own 3 years on the board, I feel like public comments are really important, but you have to remember, for the longest time, I felt like they were stacked too. There'd be 20 people hammering away at me over anti-racism. So I think sometimes that's what happens out there, and that's what it appears to be. So I think sometimes with public comments, we have to listen very carefully and understand how they're coming at us. So I think you have to balance that in your own way, because I felt it all coming at me in an attacking way, and I felt it the other way too. So you have to try to sift through all that and do the best you can with the public comments. But we're going to continue, and it's super important with having a voice out there for the public. So again, Brian, thanks for explaining that. So we're moving on now to our student representative comments. And Maddie's, I think busy tonight. She has something fun. Track. So she used to do that. So it's all about Rowan. Rowan, are you there?
I am. Hello, can you hear me?
How you doing?
Good. I had tennis today too, so I'm glad I got back in time. Worked out great. We did okay, but our singles did amazing. Playing tomorrow.
Who did you play?
It's districts, so we played a lot of different teams.
Okay.
Yeah. But first, I wanted to say Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. It's a little late, but I'm glad I get to say it now. Thanks to all of our Newberg teachers. Everyone is amazing. Additionally, the Newberg Boosters Club is doing their annual auction from May 18th through the 22nd, and they have bring home crab boil dinners. So you can do that as well until May 15th. But tonight is the choosing of a new superintendent. And this is a super important process, and I implore all of you to take into consideration the students and staff in our community. It's a big decision and will be a big change affecting all of our districts. I look forward to meeting superintendent and working alongside them on the board, whoever gets chosen. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Rowan. Appreciate you. She does such a good job.
Yeah.
So next up, if you don't know, we've added the union reps to our agenda. We're gonna do that every board meeting. And last time, Jen Esmond, who's in charge of the classified unit, couldn't be here, but she is here tonight. And so where would you like her to go, Tishri?
Right there, right next to Vice Chair Shannon.
Jen, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Do you need to turn your microphone on?
I don't have to lower it or anything, do I have to weigh it? Okay, not great at public speaking, this is not my, give me a 5-year-old to work with and I'm good. This is not my thing. So as Dave said, I am the currently the president of Oregon Employees School Association, which is the union representative classified employees. I appreciate this opportunity. So as many of you know, this has been a very difficult couple of years in our schools, and it has only operated because of the great staff, students, and parents that support our schools. As many of you also might know, nutrition and food is one of the main needs of our kids to be able to access their education. I would like to acknowledge that last Friday, May 6, 2022 was Lunch Hero Day. With all of the ups and downs of the last couple of years, one of the groups that have remained diligent in their mission to provide for our kids and families with the food that they need are our nutrition staff. They have risen to the occasion and occasionally worked on site, and continuously worked on site throughout the last 2 years. They have ordered materials during the supply chain disruption. They have prepared, packaged, and delivered or provided approximately 1.25 million meals to kids and families. They have continued to facilitate salad bars with fresh fruit and vegetables for our kids, even when they're hard to get. They even make homemade pizza on Wednesdays. And if you'd like to stop by and share lunch with some of the kids, that would be great. They would love to see you. They are always quick to provide meals for those kids that show up late or just need a little extra to get them started and through the day. They do it with a positive attitude and they truly care about our students. I hope that you will visit schools and that you will take the time to thank the nutrition staff at Shiloh Physic for their diligence and dedication to our community. Thank you for your time and shout out to our staff.
I just want, if we have any questions, if you have questions for Jen, first of all. Jen, how long have you worked for school?
12 years, it's my 12th year.
So I got a chance on the tours with the candidates and run Jen. I coached her son and her husband Lee. We've been around each other for a long time. But you were amazing with those little kids that day. So the classified people are some of the glue that hold our district together. And so we sure appreciate you. Thank you.
They are. Thank you.
So now we move on to Drew Gallagher from Newberg High School.
Hey, thanks, Dave. And thank you for your time, Board of Directors. Our NEA President, Jen Schneider, wasn't feeling great tonight. So I felt like I'd step up and make a comment in her stead. Newberg Education Association, just like everyone else, is eagerly awaiting the announcement regarding the appointment of our new superintendent. And we hope that your all's choice is one that can not only move our district forward in a positive direction scholastically, financially, and culturally, but is also one whose focus will be on uniting our district, which could certainly use it, as we all know. We hope that the choice will reflect the best interests of our students, the staff, the teachers, and our diverse community, as well as help to portray Newberg as the destination school district that it is, where families and professional educators alike want to be and take part in all that our community has to offer as a town and a school district. It's a big choice, and it's an important choice for a lot of people. And the educators of Newberg trust that you've all considered all the variables in choosing our new leader, who's the best to move us forward. And also, I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the teachers and staff members who've been stepping up to fill in for our lack of substitute teachers. It's been a big community effort here, and at so many schools, we're getting asked to cover for subs during our prep periods, and so many people are stepping up, and I think it's fantastic. It's unfortunate, but it's fantastic. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who's giving up their time to do that. And beyond that, I don't have a great deal on which to comment tonight, but I appreciate your time. So thank you all.
Thanks a lot, Drew. Does anybody have any questions for Drew? Drew, can you remind everybody what you teach at high school?
I teach history at Newberg High.
And you do really well at it, so thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
A lot of kids like this teacher. Okay. Well, from right there, you guys, we're at that point where we're going to recess to executive session. And it's a different kind of board meeting tonight. We're kind of streamlining it because we have a lot to do here in executive session. So we thank everybody for coming, and to the audience, Jen, thank you very much. We'll definitely see you in a couple weeks, right? Okay.
Great.
Okay, quick
Thank
break,
you
you
for
guys.
coming.
Yeah,
Come
I
together.
plan on coming back after you bring me.
So quick break after, like, can we go 5 minutes?
I think you need to refer or.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you need to read that part first, Chairman.
Okay, we will now recess into executive session as per ORS 192.660, parentheses 2, please A, to consider the employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent. An online executive session, participants will now access the executive session Zoom link and are reminded not to be in location where household members can easily hear the executive session. All other audience members will remain in the Zoom webinar. At the end of the executive session, we will return to the open session webinar.
right now. Greg, we just want to make sure you can hear us.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back into regular session here at the Newberg School Board. And we just come out of executive session discussing superintendent. We had a great discussion. It was a really tough choice tonight. There was a lot of passionate feedback, and both candidates were highly thought of. We appreciate both men for coming to offer their services to the Newberg School District. And at this time, we have a motion to make.
I move that the school board authorize board leadership to enter in contract negotiation with Dr. Stephen Phillips to be the next superintendent of Newberg School District.
Second. All right, we go to a vote. All those in favor of that motion, please raise your right hand. We have 5 votes. All those not in favor, please raise your hand. We have 2 votes. Motion passes.
Could you read those votes?
Yes, no votes were Rebecca Pyros, Brandon Pinner. Yes votes were Brian Shannon, Trevor DeHart, Raquel Perugino, Renee Powell, and Dave Brown. That's it for our meeting tonight. We appreciate, again, everybody part of the Newberg School District, and this meeting is adjourned.